Web. Welcome back to HWWS WebTV and the Hangin with Web Show. I am GW Pomichter, your host, and I am hanging out right now with Hangin with Web Show alumnus. Oh, wow, I don't even know how to describe this woman. Talent. Boom. They invented the word talent to describe this woman. It's true, look it up. It's probably not true, but Google it anyway, just for fun. But we're hanging out right now with the one and only Kathryn Flanagan. Kathryn, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Just doing great, yes.
And 2020's Jumanji game hasn't been too bad for you.
No.
I realized I was on my phone yesterday and scrolling through, and I saw a meme, but it had an article attached to it, and it was apparently a pack of wild boars got into a warehouse and consumed $20,000 worth of cocaine. And I realized that meant we had cocaine boars, we've had murder hornets, we've had sniper rats, and Sage told me about something they were calling there was some kind of name for some kind of poison frog that was working its way into Florida. Oh. And we had COVID-19.
Right.
So at that moment, I realized someone around February started playing Jumanji.
Probably. Well, and you forgot about the aliens, because they released all those films from the Air Force about the alien crafts.
Yep,
so,
okay.
They're with us.
If you're in 2020, it's a lot of fun. Wow. So, but Kathryn, you've been doing great.
I've been doing great. I have another book coming out in September, hopefully.
Okay.
Fingers crossed. It's a fantasy novel. It's called Children of Hatray. It's about a planet who actually is alive, and a planter comes and seeds it with different types of people, and the war that happens when they start to misuse it. It's very good. It's fun. It's a YA novel, and yeah, I'm really excited about it. I've been working on it for a couple of years.
And you had a little bit of time to kill.
And I had time to kill now with being at home. I got to finish it.
Yeah. Well, now I know you haven't been able to go out and do a lot of the things that you've been doing. When we last talked, we talked a little bit about your improv.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you guys in touch online, or
we're in touch online. We're sort of trying to get back together. There's been some of the people have been ill, so we're just trying to go through that. But I feel like we're going to be back. We're definitely going to be back.
Because we need to laugh.
We need to have this.
Things have gotten a little heavy this year, between, everything that's going on. And I think, laughter is
the best medicine.
It is. I think because it inspires us. It makes us feel better about ourselves and makes us feel more productive. And
right.
By the way, there's chemistry behind this too. When you smile, there's a chemical release into your system that makes you feel better. You release endorphins into your system. That's true, actually. You can look that up. You can't look up that Kathryn is actually defined as talent. You can, but I have to write the article first. So, wow, so you got your next YA novel coming out?
My YA. I also am now the co-president of the National Pen Women Association in Cape Canaveral branch.
Fantastic.
So that's another little thing that I was...
The National Pen Women Association.
Yes, it's...
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah, it's... Now, of course, my mind went totally blank, but there are a number of women, Maya Angelou, Eleanor Roosevelt, trying to think of names right now, but there are a lot of famous women who have belonged to it. It was created because back, 1800s, women were not allowed to, they weren't published. They had to use
your husband's names.
Make up a man's name. And so this organization was published, and you have to go through a vetting process, and you get in. And I've been a member for a couple of years. I was vice president for the last 2 years, and now one of the vice presidents, and now Donna Puglisi and I are the co-chairs for it.
Congratulations, so that's fantastic. That is awesome, and that's some pretty heady company to be in.
Oh yeah, it is. It's
I was going to say, as a modern writer, there are names that just stand out, that are those things those people we aspire to be, as it were. And when you start throwing out names like Eleanor Roosevelt or Maya Angelou, as a writer, you just kind of go, oh, wow, if I can be that when I grow up, it'll be okay.
Right.
And so that's pretty good company.
And the Pen Women isn't just writers. We also are artists and music.
Fantastic.
So they have letters and music and art. And so this year we're in Florida. We're doing the different branches are getting together, and so like we would match an artist with, say, a poet, and we're doing a collaboration project for the next convention a year from now. So that's kind of exciting. It's kind of a different because you're with someone you never even met from another part of the state, and
that is awesome.
So it's a good way for us to grow.
One of the things that we've enjoyed, and again, you find ways to entertain yourself in the last 6 months or so. And one of the things that we've enjoyed is the amount of collaboration we've been able to do with other creative artists, and we really enjoyed putting different kinds of artists in a room together. A painter with a writer with a musician, and a musician. Because what comes out of that room is fantastic. It is. There's nothing like it, and it's spontaneous collaboration, and it's wonderful to watch happen. It's like a chemistry experiment. You have no idea if you're going to get good or bad. All you know is that something's going to explode. So that's going to be amazing. Yeah,
we have I belong to a creative writing group on Wednesdays, and mostly it's women. Men seem to come go, but. I've been in there for about 13 years
Commitment issues, don't worry.
Yeah, just the way they are.
I didn't know where else to go with that joke, so we're going to keep talking. Okay.
But it's nice because they flow out the ideas and then you start to do them. So a couple of them are also painters, so they'll sometimes come in with something that they painted from something we already wrote about.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, you have to write, you have a minute, write about this word. You have 20 minutes, write for this.
Again, I make up what terms mean all the time, but but art in general, one of the things that I have noticed is the artist. The artist is a storyteller, and what your medium, even your choice of what art you participate in, is a part of your process. But you're always going to be a storyteller. That tree tells a story, a novel tells a story, a song certainly tells a story, and when you get these storytellers in a room and one has a story that they're going to write and the other's going to paint to it or write music to it, you get just this cacophony of creativity that is.
And we do it from such a young age. I mean, how many kids will tell you a story? Okay, how did you get that bruise on your foot? Why are you bleeding? Well, the cow came out of the thing and ran into me, and I fell down because I was, Joey, and it was all Joey's fault.
Any story that begins with a cow is going somewhere good. Just saying.
But you have that innate ability within yourself. Everybody's born with this innate ability, and it's just great to be able to do it.
We grow out of it, sort of. We condition our way out of it so much of the time. We put so much emphasis on the, I guess you'd call it the daily maintenance of our lives, making sure we have resources and money and food and roof overhead, and that we make a living. And art is what gives us a life, though. It's what gives us that passion for things. I tell people all the time, it's wonderful that you're a doctor. That's awesome. But I'd never dismiss the artist because of the doctor, because the artist is the reason that the doctor's patient wants to live.
Right. Right. Well, not only that, but we're so busy, and we have our phones, or we have our little square boxes, or can't think of it, but anyway. But you have all this stuff, and nobody sits down and does things. So you just sit down with it. If you sit down like with a child and say, "Oh, here are papers, and you can just do this whole thing," and it's just so much fun. I think it's fun, but it's.
This is why we do what we do. You guys do your adulting thing. We're going to be over here coloring with the kids because it's
having
fun and drawing and creating and if you let a kid's imagination just go,
right,
you'll love the journey. And and I think there's just something broken in us as artists where that never went away.
Right.
So we just love to sit here. If you see a group, when you see a group of kids sitting there with their crayons, you keep walking and you go and do the dishes and do the stuff. Kathryn and I, we stop and join the kids because that's where we know the fun is.
And let's add some paper and glue and just this is some. Yes. So
this is awesome.
This is what life is about.
It is.
It's
it really
about living.
Is. And that's how we pass our stories down. We have to create. We have to tell those truths and those stories in art and painting and music and things. And that's fantastic. I love that project. Can't wait to see what that project brings. Your new book. We have a question. Did you create a language for your planet's people? Because we did you did the gibberish speak last time.
I did gibberish last time.
Yes, last time she did gibberish. Yes.
No, these people though are all different. Like there are people that are so white that their skin is blue, but you don't know what color their eyes are because little one thinks they live up north. There is another group of people who live on the Kidney Isles, and their skin is ebony. They have ebony skin. They have straight hair. It's black, but right down the middle it's bright red. And they have violet eyes. And then you have another group of people, the Mohawks, and they have short black hair. They're smaller people. They have like a light brown skin, but their eyes are orange. So you have all these different people that were planted, and they have to learn how to get together. What I did create for them, though, was a rule book, which is called, the Holy Papyrus. It's sort of like a Bible. It's sort of like a thing. And so every chapter begins with part of a verse from the Book of Moonstone, or for the Book of Carnelian, or the Book of Quartz, Jasper. All the books are all named after, because it was created by the planet, which is made of all the stones, which is used it, but it's the rule book and it's the guidebook. So every chapter has a section of one of these things. So actually, like I would write the poem for the thing, and then I would just take part of that, put that to begin it, and I'll have the Book of Papyrus on the back, so you can always look up the back of it. And I drew the pictures of the people in the front.
I love.
I had to play with crayons.
No, and I love books and art that exist inside of a fictional world, because it's for those really dedicated readers and people who really dive into these things. That becomes almost a quest for finding the book that's in the book. Or I remember seeing the merchandising for the first when Harry Potter first hit the theaters, and they were obviously book sales were way up because people had come from the theater, and then there was a huge demand for the books that Hermione referenced in the movie. And so my son actually has this little crate. It's got the books from the movie in it.
I do too.
And you got that too? I love that because it makes the world so immersive. And one of the biggest thing about drawing an audience in is getting that suspension of disbelief, getting them to really buy into your characters and your universe. And when you make it so rich that they can touch it
and feel it and taste it. It's like the Hunger Games. The Hunger Games, you just get right into it, and you go, may the odds be ever in your favor. You're just totally in.
You're there.
You're there.
You're there.
And she came out with a new book with the beginning of Snow's beginning, so it's very interesting.
Wow.
Prequels
are so hard. Prequels are very hard because you know a destination, and there's so much temptation, I think, to just take the shortest distance between 2 points as a straight line. And as a reader, and somebody's going to enjoy it, you have a desire to see that journey wind a little bit through the mountain pass. We don't want to go the straight line because that's too easy.
She did not do that.
That's amazing.
It's a very good book.
That is awesome.
Okay.
That is the shut up card. She does that too. It's right about the time we're having a really good time. So, all right, guys, we're going to say thank you to our partners and friends at NSC Live TV, Mommy and G Creations for all of our merchandise, our great friends at Brevard Film and Talent, Space Coast Comics, JBauerArt for all the fantastic art that's on the set. You can find any one of these pieces at JBauerArtShop.com. And thank our friends at Famous Faces and Funnies, our very first sponsor, who has been with us for the last 5 years and never, ever, ever failed to sponsor the show and support our artists. So thank you. Thank you to Kathryn Flanagan for hanging out with us and spending a little time on set. Thank you for logging on and tuning in. Be sure to come back over and over again and see who we're hanging with next. Awesome. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Kathryn. Awesome.